I'm at etrailer. If you have a 2023 BMW X5 and you're looking for something that's going to help you get through those more deep snow or muddy areas, and you want something that's going to be more on the entry-level side of things, then the Titan Chain tire chains with the twist links are going to be a great option for you. So let's check them out. Now we are going to have this on tire size 275, 45, R20. It will fit a variety of other sizes. That's just the size we have today. Now we're going to have this on the rear axle is what the manual recommends. It also recommends turning off your rear axle steering, just so you can more safely drive with these chains. Now if you're not sure if this is going to fit your vehicle, you can actually plug in your vehicle's information into our fit guide to find the right one for you. The reason why I recommend this for more entry-level uses is mainly because of its construction. This is going to be made from a low carbon steel, so it is going to be a softer metal, but it's also going to give you a smoother ride overall. And we're going to have this twist link design. The nice thing about twist links, they also provide you a smoother ride compared to any square links. And this is going to be more ideal for those deep snow applications or really muddy applications. They're also going to be a larger link, not as large as some square links out there, so we're going to have plenty of space to sit underneath our wheel well. And then we're also going to have a ladder pattern design to the chains. With a ladder pattern design, that's going to give you more traction for when you're stopping and you're starting. If you look at the bottom, you'll notice we do have this type of lever. Now, I haven't seen very many of these. This is a pretty unique design. So what's happening is this lever is reaching back and grabbing onto this bracket. Typically, the lever just kind of grabs onto another link. And while it can be a little bit difficult to use sometimes, I didn't have too much of an issue this time. And I do like that this does slide on this larger link, so far I am liking the design. While that lever is doing a pretty good job of keeping our chains on here pretty tight, I still recommend using a rubber tensioner. And I recommend it because when you're driving down the road, what can happen a lot of times is your chains are usually going to shift. And once they shift, they usually loosen up and then could damage something. This is just going to give you more peace of mind because this is going to be constantly applying tension to your chains. Now this is going to come with your kit, so you can actually find one of those on our website. Now, what will come with your kit is going to be this light duty bag with 2 sets of chains. And honestly, I'd recommend investing in a small tote to keep your chains in because this bag will start to degrade pretty quickly if you're using it a little more often. In my opinion, I think this is a pretty solid choice if you are looking for that more entry-level design. Now, if you want something a little bit easier to install because maybe you're taking chains on and off more frequently, then I'd recommend any type of chain that has cams on them. Because cams are going to take out a lot of that hard work it takes to get this cinched down correctly the first time. You can rely on those cams a lot more to keep everything nice and tight. But those cams are going to be a little bit more premium, so it's just going to depend on what kind of usage or how often you're using your chains. Now, if you are curious to see what this installation looks like, just stay tuned. We'll walk you through the process. Let's start off the installation. I like to grab some gloves, just make this a little bit easier, and lay out my chains. Now, there's a few things I like to check. So the first thing is just to make sure we don't have any damage to the links. Those welds are looking good. And then I also like to make sure that the hooks at the very ends of here are facing up, because if they are going to be making contact with our vehicle, it could damage something. And then I also like to check the end where we have this hook. We want to make sure this is closest to us and furthest away from your tire. Now at this point, we can start putting it on. So I find it best to find the center, lift up from there, then drape it over your tire. And when you're draping it over, you want to make sure it's centered. So if you're getting a fitment where you're hanging over your rim, you probably got to shift it over some. And you just put your hand on the back side of the tire, just make sure everything's even. And then you can just continue that process all the way to the sides too, until we reach the ends. And from here I like to just situate them so we can make those connections a little bit easier on either side. And if it feels like too uneven, you can simply just grab the chains themselves and rotate them over just a little bit until you do get it centered on there. So we're just going to grab this one end that has the hook on it, and we're going to connect that to the other end with the links. Now this might take you a few tries because it is a tighter fit underneath here, and it also might take you a few tries to figure out what the correct fit is going to be, because you don't want this to be too tight where you won't be able to get a good connection on the front side, and then you also don't want it too loose where it's going to fall off your tire and damage something on your vehicle. And the front connection is going to be a little bit different. So instead of a regular lever, we're going to have this device. And if I try to get it to this furthest point, while I can get on there, it's just going to be a little bit too tight. So I'm going to go to the one right next to it, apply some tension to it, squeezing it until we can get this opening lined up with that bracket. Just like that, until it catches on. Then I'm going to come back through, kind of pull on it, and this has a little bit of slack, nothing too crazy. I feel pretty comfortable about this. If I'm using this with a rubber tensioner, I just recommend just keeping an eye on it as you're driving around. And what I like to do is, any of them with a lever at the bottom, I'll typically just kind of skew the rubber tensioner a bit. Just makes it a little bit easier to make our connections and get everything more of a better spread. Already kind of got that a little bit off, so I'm just going to shift these over some. And what we're trying to do is, when we're making this connection, we want to make sure that that hook is facing away from your tire so you don't puncture anything. And of course, I'm going to just fix this a little bit more because I don't like that fitment. And I think this right here will do us much better. After, when you have this fully installed, then you can repeat that process on the other side. And with them both on, I recommend pulling forward and backing up some. Just make sure you still have a good fit. Then come back through, just pulling on it again. If it feels good, you can take it out for a ride. But that was just a look at the Titan Chain tire chains with the twist links on our 2023 BMW X5. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.